All right, everybody. So you know how everybody who's running the Daily Wire and acts as like their biggest mouthpieces, they're all failed media figures from like outside the sphere of politics, right? Whether they be failed directors, writers, actors, filmmakers, whatever it may be. They all were trying to be in mainstream media, failed, and then fell into politics, like right-wing politics grift, to try to like make something of themselves because they failed their first gig. This is very well known. Hell, the guy who is the co-founder of the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boring, very fitting name, is literally a failed director and screenwriter. Now that the Daily Wire has started to blow up enough that it's getting a whole lot of attention, like, and a lot of money, they're now looking to branch out their company into breaking back into mainstream media in the same, into the same realm that they previously failed out of. But now they've got the money and resources from being political right-wing demagogues, right? Here's the thing, though. Every attempt they've made so far at doing this has failed. The most recent one was a movie starring, I think, Ben Shapiro and Gina Carano that just completely fell flat. It made, like, I think $8 at the box office opening weekend. I'm not even exaggerating, by the way. It was, like, less than $100 it made on the box office opening weekend. Starring Gina Carano. Daily Wire's own fans thought the movie was woke in like, the reviews for it. It's actually crazy. Anyway, they're now looking to make a anti-woke Snow White starring Brett Cooper, the completely manufactured fake gamer girl lady they have doing pick-me content. And then they're now announcing that they are... Oh, they also have Bent Key, which is a children-targeted platform focused on making rip-off kids shows that are like... For example, they've got one that's about chinchillas that's a rip-off of Bluey. However, they have now recently announced a new movie, a mockumentary comedy that they're making called, well, I'll just go ahead and read the tweet to you guys. This is from Jeremy Boring himself on Twitter. Hollywood won't make a movie about how laughably absurd it is that we now allow grown men to call themselves women and then dominate women's sports. So we did. Introducing our first feature-length comedy, Lady Ballers. Available December 1st, only on Daily Wire Plus. This got 70,000 likes, by the way. Jesus Christ. I guess only under Elon's Twitter are these productions actually able to do anything. Let's take a look at this god-awful trailer. I haven't seen it yet.
In a world where women's sports is being transformed, the Daily Wire calls foul with the most triggering comedy of the year.
Oh god, this is cringe. This is gonna be just unpleasant to watch, dude.
Guys, this is serious. Sports can be your pathway to a better life.
Dude, I love the like comedy, like bad comedy movie trailer editing. Oh, it's so it's beyond parody.
Well, like yours?
Please don't steal my catalytic converter again. Winning matters. It's the key ingredient in becoming a winner.
What's the like what? What's the comedy there? People steal catalytic converters? Oh, it's Brett Cooper. What's the joke? Okay, I guess he gets bullied.
Try it sometime. Are you gonna move?
I am not.
Oh no, dude! The fans of Daily Wire are gonna think this movie's woke because the white man is like a punching bag. You can't have the white man be a punching bag. People are gonna think it's woke.
Let's cut to the chase. I know you're not a woman.
Hey, you don't know how he identifies.
If you can beat them,
What do you know about the U.S. Opens for the Global Games?
You want us to compete as women. $5,000 prizes.
My lover says you were a great coach back in the day.
join
This is the way
Matt Walsh in drag, I guess.
the world is now. My 8-year-old daughter told me all about it. So, a guy can become a girl with no physical changes at all.
Oh, that's called gender fluid.
So I can be a woman on the court and a man in the bedroom. I can't believe it. Nice!
You mean when you're sleeping?
Yes.
Coach? Alex,
We could play basketball.
We'd have to get the whole team back together.
It's time
We're in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
to play
Lady Balders. Man up.
like a girl.
That's right. I'm with her. Believe in my truth. This is my truth.
Dude, it is a mistake the internet has allowed these people to have any amount of money to put, like, production value into this shit. Like, it used to be this stuff had to be, like, recorded on camcorders and shit in, like, grainy 280p. But now, these people have more money than God because of the internet. And like, they can actually make high production value garbage.
From heroes
Day one of being a...
The funny thing as well is, like, all the imagery is all about how these, like, trans women, quote-unquote, when literally, like, the story of the movie is that these aren't trans women, they're dudes pretending to be trans women. Like, it's all about how they're, like, beating up all these women, but, like, the one image that exists of something like that happening, and trust me, the right loves to share this image around. They absolutely love to share around this image, but they don't like to honestly tell you who is who in the image. They don't tell you who is who in this image. This is like pretty evocative, right? Of the imagery of that trailer, you know? But what this is a trans man, as in this guy here, was assigned female at birth. This guy was born a girl and transitioned to be a guy, and is forced, his name's Mac Beggs, yeah, and is forced to wrestle against girls because he's a trans guy. The only times where this imagery actually ends up happening is when the policies that the right are fighting for with a movie like this are put into place. So yes, this is a dude being forced to wrestle women because of transphobia. Let him wrestle dudes. He wants to wrestle dudes.
from heroes
Day one of being a girl athlete? I love being a girl.
to Shapiro.
Yeah, it is also no secret that this is literally just an entire movie based off of a South Park joke. Yes, this was already done by South Park. This was a South Park joke. But to be fair, the entire sense of humor of most Daily Wire fans is just South Park, so it's up their alley.
We could dominate every woman's sport. Running, swimming, soccer. I said sport, Felix!
It's ladies basketball, boys. Nobody watches.
I love that. I love that. They can't even pretend like women's sports are super important and they need to be, like, the integrity has to be preserved in their propaganda movie about how women's sports are under attack. That's great. They can't even pretend. They can't even pretend. Because they have to be misogynistic too, right?
Excuse me. Are these seats open?
Never mind.
Getting dunks. And tucking trunks.
No, she didn't. That's the biggest I've ever seen on a lady.
I don't care.
Lady ballers.
These are straight men, guys. These are straight men. These are straight men, I promise.
One can even be trans age now, which provides Sheelix with a wonderful opportunity.
I get that you hate trans people and you want to make a movie. It's all about, like, shitting on them and everything. But really, we're just going to throw in the whole, like, also they're pedophiles argument, too. Like, a little, also, trans people are pedophiles is, like, the stinger at the end of the trailer.
Opportunity to relive all the experiences that she missed out on in school.
Streaming exclusively on Daily Wire Plus December 1st.
Very nice. So, this movie is all about parodying a supposedly real phenomena, right? That was the whole idea behind this. The funny thing about it, though, is Ben Shapiro kind of self-owned the entire movie recently in a clip that came out from an interview that he did. So this is him discussing the original plan for Lady Ballers. It was actually supposed to be an undercover documentary, but they had to make it a fictional comedy because, as it turns out, the entire premise is fiction.
A fictional film about this topic. Now, to be fair, I think I'd actually suggested to the Crane Boys that they do this as a doc.
Yes.
I originally went to them and I said, you guys should like go try out for a bunch of ladies' leagues. And that became not possible because, as it turns out, most ladies' leagues don't allow in actual men. And they weren't willing to go the full distance in terms of what it would require in order to, you know, the actual hormone treatments and everything to play in some of the ladies' leagues. But in any case.
Why would he say this? Why in a million years would he just outright say this and admit that the original plan was to try to make a documentary about the phenomenon they made up, found out that the phenomenon they made up isn't real, and so they made a fictional movie to make fun of their made-up phenomenon, and then accidentally admitted, hold on a second, we couldn't make a documentary about the thing we claim exists because it doesn't exist. How fucking dumb can you be, dude? And this is not even the worst cell phone I've seen a Daily Wire host have live on a show, by the way. I will say, I'll always give props to Joe Rogan for this. It really is just hilarious. It really is hilarious. The amount of self-owning that these Daily Wire hosts do when they're allowed to talk without an earpiece. Like, they've always got an earpiece in their ear when they're on their show. You know that they just always fuck up when they don't have an earpiece in and someone feeding them lines. Watch this. I think a little more embarrassing than Ben Shapiro just letting the cat out of the bag there.
Exist anymore because they've all become transgender. They've all this is what they do now. There are a lot of people, doctors who got into the medical field and they did a certain thing, and then the transgender stuff came along, and that's their whole, that's what they do. Well, it's the same for a lot of plastic surgeons. That this is basically their whole business now, is doing the gender surgeries. And so you see the incentive for them. I mean, they have staked everything on this. They've also staked their professional reputation, because that's the other problem. Not only is it the political incentive and the money, but if they admit that they're wrong, then they're also admitting that they have horribly disfigured and abused thousands, maybe millions of kids.
How many people have had this done?
Here it comes.
Depends on what. I don't think we have exact numbers, but if we're talking about the drugs, it's, I mean, millions.
You're talking about hormone blockers.
Yeah.
Millions of kids have been on hormone blockers? Really?
I'm sure someone's going to fact check me on it, but my guess is that we're into the millions now at this point. Yeah, that would be my guess.
He doesn't even know.
I can say for double mastectomies, I read a report recently that there were over 1,000 done between 2016 and 2019, and when you compare that to how many were done between 2008 and 2015, it's a massive increase. And over 1,000 girls had double mastectomy.
It's almost like as trans people get more accepted, more trans people seek out procedures to do the trans thing.
Gender-affirming double mastectomies in that time frame.
And when you say girls, you're talking about prepubescent,
right? Minors, and that's just up until 2019, and then we know that there's been this exponential increase with all this stuff year over year. So it's a lot. It's too many. Having this happen to one kid is way too many. It's a lot more than one.
Yeah. Look, if you're an adult and you want to do that and you understand who you are and what you are and this is how you feel you should progress, you're an adult. This is a free country. You should be able to do whatever you want. But when you're talking about doing that to children, the fact that so many people are on board and so many people are angry, if you have people are going to be angry at us that we're having these conversations.
Yeah, they will be. And I also. I actually think that this shouldn't be happening to.
It's a very small number, if that's right.
It says over the last 5 years, there were at least 4,780 adolescents who started puberty blockers and had a prior gender dysphoria diagnosis.
This says it's kind of undercounted.
I would guess millions.
That would be a big undercounting.
Less than 1,000 people a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess
less than 1,000 minors a year go on hormone blockers in America, or period. I'm not exactly sure what that status that might be global, it might be national. Regardless, the point still stands. These people are doing the definition of making a mountain out of a molehill. They found a very small group of kids in a very marginalized group, and they have laser focused on them as a point of a culture war to both win political points as well as to make enormous amounts of money to line their own pockets. This is demonic behavior. It is downright evil, and there's no other way to put it. Like, calling it anything other than pure evil is an understatement.